It's Shack Together. We're going to start out with a little math. What happens when you take 39, the number of today's episode, subtract 1 from it, and then cut it in half? That's right, it's the number 19. Astute listeners will know the significance of number 19. Yeah, today we're playing 19Q Magoo. You may remember that from podcasts past. It's a fun one. But before that, I am pleased to announce TJ Denzer is joining us today to talk about Switch 2, its backward compatibility, the latest release on Switch 1, Mario and Luigi Brothership, and much more. After our fabled game segment, we cover a number of stories, including Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. We've got a preview on that one. Then it's over to Reviewza, Metal Slug Tactics, Mario and Luigi Brothership. Yep, the review is here. Call of Duty Black Ops, Billavoy brings us his take on that one, as does Donovan on Batman Arkham Shadow. We've also got the scoop on Planet Coaster 2. Stick around to see how that one shapes up. Then on to news. Furukawa tells us a little bit about Nintendo Switch 2, or the successor to Nintendo Switch as they put it, and how it will be backward compatible, thank goodness. We learn a little bit more about the sales numbers for Nintendo Switch 1, as well as the sales numbers for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, some more forecasts for Nintendo, and the latest on Pokemon trading card game Pocket. We've got news on Death Stranding. It's heading to Xbox. Scratch that, it's already here. Take-Two sells private division. Sega claims a Virtua Fighter is on the way. Star Wars Outlaws gets a new creative director, and Ubisoft has some trouble on their NFT game, as if they didn't have some already. All this and more on today's show. Thanks for listening. Here we go.
So remember how I was telling you there's this new restaurant opening up in town, and I was hopeful that it was like a Popeyes or a Bennigan's?
Oh yeah, this was months ago.
Yeah. Probably like 2 or 3 months ago, I was like, oh man. And then like there were 2 buildings going up in the same like mini strip mall. One of them is a Starbucks, and it's a drive-through Starbucks. So whatever, right? We need another Starbucks like we need a hole in the head. America runs on Dunkin', so does Canton. But I drove by yesterday because I just was like kind of like looking for something to cheer me up. Mm-hmm. And it's like the worst possible option. So what do you think I found? Not a Bennigan's. What do you think I found?
The question is what is the chicken restaurant?
Which restaurant ended up opening at that location? What do you think? And if you've seen the report, TJ, don't answer.
Okay, this is good. I haven't seen it. TJ, have you seen the report?
Yes.
Okay. And my context clues are it's the worst possible.
I think it might be the worst possible franchise to open.
Chick-fil-A.
Funny you mention that. It's literally half a mile from a new Chick-fil-A that opened where my old grocery store used to be. So no, not Chick-fil-A. Close.
Sorry,
it doesn't have to be a chicken place, by the way.
Yeah, I understand. I'm asking for hints, so I apologize if that's against the rules. But is the context that this is bad, let's say politically, or that the food is bad, or is it both?
I would say it's just bad food. Like it's fast food.
Subway.
No, God, Subway is, I think, better than this place. I don't like Subway.
I think I have a good clue for this. It's sure. It's one of those McDonald's of a genre.
Sure, that's a good one. That's a good clue.
McDonald's. That implies that it's super popular.
Yes. I wouldn't say like super popular, but it's everywhere. You'll find it in airports. You'll find it in malls. You'll find it in strip malls. But you never really want to eat there.
Wow.
You don't. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about this place, honestly, because you probably have better options around you for the same type of food.
I mean, I'm hesitant to say because I sort of like it, but Chipotle?
No, not Chipotle. Okay. Good answer though. It's actually right across the street from a Chipotle.
Well, you said mall, so now I'm like my head's in like the Annie Ann's headspace.
We love pretzels here on the Shack Together podcast.
You're preaching to the choir. This is good podcast. So Joe just guessing chain restaurants.
Yes.
All right. No, we're gonna get
2 more guesses.
Yeah. Okay. 2 more guesses. It's the McDonald's of a
type
segment.
Of food. Yes.
Okay. Can you get this? Is by the way, guys. This is a precursor to the game we're gonna play, which I don't know if you looked ahead.
Yeah, also. I did see that.
I had a rough week like we all did. That's the best I could do.
That's fine.
Okay, here we go. It is the McDonald's of a pillar is it a place that you would get a full meal, or is it like just a place where you get an item?
Full meal. Full meal.
Oh, full meal. Okay.
Yeah.
It is the worst. It is worse than Subway.
I like, gun to my head, I'm eating Subway over this place.
I think I would,
but it
too.
has ubiquity though.
Yes.
So that's where you're stumping me.
I know. Trust me, I was equally baffled when I saw it last night. I was like, no, anything
is it
but
sit
this.
down?
It can be.
I don't mean right. I don't mean that. Does it have chairs? I mean, like, is it only sit down? Like
No, there's a drive-through.
Yeah,
there's a drive-through.
Mm-hmm. It's just sad because it's such a nice building and like a nice area. Like, it's a good location. That's why I'm bummed. Like, I wanted it to be a Popeyes, right? I wanted it to be a Popeyes or a Bennigan's, and it ended up
we
being
want
this.
Popeyes. Yeah. I mean, we all want Popeyes.
We all want Popeyes. The nearest Popeyes to my house is like 25 minutes away. So it's a problem.
Man, I told you that one went up down the street and still not open. But every day it looks like, I saw the tile on the wall.
It's getting closer.
2 days ago. It's getting real close. Okay, sorry. No, we're going to figure. I do not want to move on to the show.
Yeah.
Until I get this.
Yeah. I think you have one more guess.
No, I've been asking for clues. I have 2 guesses. I'm really drawing this up.
I have one more clue.
Go ahead.
It's one of the few major chains that does like a mall food court style cafeteria platter ordering progression.
Man, that's screams Chipotle.
Yeah, it does.
Panda Express.
You are correct, sir. A Panda Express is opening in Canton. We already have one. We already have a Panda Express. We don't need 2 Panda Expresses in Canton.
Okay, I gotta say,
pretty terrible, right?
I gotta say, especially living where I live, Panda Express is a flat no-go. But I can't think of it. I worked at a Subway, and admittedly, that's why. Nothing is worse.
It's the smell of the bread. You probably instantly smell the bread when I even just say the word Subway, right?
I smell a combination of low-grade Parmesan, yeast, and red onion.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious, but the low-grade Parmesan it makes it putrid.
No, and you also come home smelling like it. It's brutal, man. Working at Subway sucks. No, I don't. Trust me, I get it.
But that said, real quick, best job I ever had.
See? Wow. Best job.
So fun.
Were you a sandwich artist?
Yeah.
Is that how you got into art?
Yeah, by way of sandwiches, I got into graphic design.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Huh. So, like, you clearly have PTSD from working at Subway, but you still have some good feelings about it, too.
I only have nose-related PTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a. I mean, listen, I was making $7, but it was just a nice, like there's a nice catharsis to making a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was so happy to, and that was a $5 footlong days too.
The height of Subway, that
was the post Jared, I think post or like right at the end, like when Jared became a public monster. So like we didn't have the thing, the cardboard cutout in the building anymore, but then also while the $5 footlong was happening. So it's like it was a good era.
You're probably like during the NASCAR era. Didn't they have like a NASCAR run with like a car and everything?
There was a NASCAR run. It doesn't stick out. I remember the last thing that happened in terms of like the national like campaigns that they did was the the hot pastrami, which I do not recommend if they still sell it. But that was like the last thing that before, I moved on to college or whatever.
Yeah, because that threw a whole wrench into their sandwich making process.
Yeah,
when they started heating up things. Yeah, the microwave
pastrami.
Yeah, that's gross. I don't know. My sandwiches, like the meatball sub and the grilled chicken. Those were my 2.
I got all the dirt, whatever you want to know. Did about 5 years there.
I don't want to know because it'll make me never want to eat there again.
Although maybe that's good.
I don't really eat there anymore because I don't eat whatever the hell that bread is made out of. I don't eat that.
I don't blame you. It's not made of anything real.
It's just weird. That bread is weird. But my point is, I would rather eat that than anything at Panda. And I think you agree with that because, like, New Jersey has viable local Chinese food options.
Yes. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that in New Jersey, there is quote unquote East Coast Chinese, which is not like, if you're in California listening right now and you're thinking like Chinese food is is, I don't know, like a cultured affair with like a lot of rich history and cuisine associated with. No. Here it is a type. They're getting it from the same Restaurant Depot or whatever. It is the exact same stuff everywhere, and it's
if
so
you're not
good.
ordering a number at a Chinese place, it's not good.
Yeah, correct. So that said, yeah, Panda Express, I would never go. But I'm saying on this desert island scenario that you're painting, Subway next to a Panda Express, absolutely going to Panda Express.
Damn. What are you getting?
Orange chicken.
That's it. That's like the only thing.
Orange chicken, lo mein.
The rice is fine.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you go for the lo mein.
Yeah, lo mein's good. Yeah. Whatever.
But so like no General Tso's, no Kung Pao, anything, no Mongolian beef.
I mean, the problem is, when you get it at these local East Coast Chinese restaurants, it's made to order.
Made to order for you. It's not just sitting there.
It's coming right out of the wok. It's burning hot. Yeah. It's that also, like sitting under the lamp that ruins it.
Also, if you're getting way too bougie with the General Tso's at Panda Express, they don't have General Tso's.
My bad.
They just they don't have that classy stuff.
Sorry, teriyaki chicken. My bad. I'm pretty sure it's just teriyaki chicken is their other chicken option. They have Kung Pao chicken.
That's how bad Princess Garden. I'm sorry, I don't even know. Panda Express is.
Yeah.
Do you guys have
the same menu for like ever, and
they really have.
And it's the most basic menu possible.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have teriyaki one around you?
No, we don't even have a Popeyes, dude. We only have one Denny's.
Yeah.
This town is in shambles right now. I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
that's a good that's a chain alternative that's very affordable and I think a little bit better than Panda.
The thing that Canton is doing for like the sandwich shop alternative right now is Jersey Mike's. Like that's kind of taking over town.
That's a good place.
It's not bad.
Like a mom and pop is better, obviously, but as far as the chains go,
I judge a place based on how they do a good Italian cold cut sandwich, and Jersey Mike's is one of my favorites.
And like TJ, you've been over here to the Shacknews office. Like it's in the heart of the sandwich district. Like you're surrounded by sandwich places at the Shacknews Intergalactic headquarters, Joe. So like multiple Jersey Mike's. I dare even call this place a sandwich place, but it technically is. There's multiple Jimmy John's around us. There's a Subway within walking distance, but it also sells sushi, which is weird.
What?
Subway
it's not
sushi.
It's two restaurants, but in one building. It's very weird. It's a very strange. I'll have to take a picture of it for you, Joe, because you're going to just be like, how? But yeah, so there's a Subway within walking distance of our office. And then, there's a Firehouse Subs, right? There's like this place where it's called Grinders and such, or Grinders Above and Beyond now. But that's like a more local joint. But yeah, lots of sandwiches is my point. But like, God,
sounds great.
We need another Chinese restaurant in this town. Like we need another Dunkin'. So anyway, no Bennigan's. Just another disappointment this week.
I know, right? First, it's we're not the sexiest or whatever the award was, and now
we're not the sexiest podcast of the year. I don't know if you saw what Jason Kelsey did over the weekend, but I think they should take the award away from him and give it to us. It's ridiculous.
What on earth did he do?
Don't worry about it. Right. Don't worry about it. He said a bad word and he smashed someone's phone, but they said the bad word to him first.
They did.
Anyway, let's start the show. It's Shack Together in America for now on the internet. If this is your first time joining us, Shack Together is a Shacknews video games podcast featuring myself, Asif Khan. Is he still co-ghost John Benyamine, or is it not spooky time anymore? Or is this always perpetual spooky time?
Well, it's not about the spookiness. It's co-ghost because of his mysterious
his attendance
absence
record
or presence. Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay. Well, he's haunting this Discord, maybe. John Benyamine somewhere out there. But our producer, Joe Stasio, is here.
I'm here. Hello.
And TJ Denzer, senior news editor from Shacknews, is here.
Hello.
back for a second week because I was so bad at booking our guests this week that I was just kind of running around Slack a few hours ago going, hey, everybody.
It's understandable. This week has been a bit distracting.
Yeah, I'd say so. We've had a lot of earnings coming out, some other news not really in our coverage universe. But yeah, we do that thing here where we ask people what they've been playing lately. So TJ, what have you been playing lately?
So probably the biggest thing I've been fiddling with this last week is I've been playing Balatro, but I've been playing it with a twist because Nintendo released this awesome little app that's just Nintendo music, and it's just Nintendo music. You can play Nintendo music from a bunch of their games, not any of them because that's actually a sticking point for a lot of people. But they do have like Mario Wonder on there, Donkey Kong, Animal Crossing.
Yep.
And I found that you can turn the music off in Balatro.
Uh-huh.
And then you can put Nintendo music on in the background while you're playing on a smartphone.
What a country.
Wow.
And
kind of makes it all worth it, right?
Boy howdy, playing Balatro to the Mario Wonder soundtrack is aces.
Yeah. How good is the Mario Wonder soundtrack?
Oh my god.
It's like it's been a year since it came out, so like I haven't really, and it was a game where I played the hell out of it. You get close to 100%ing it, whatever, and then you're on with your day. So I haven't really been back in that world recently. So I start hearing these levels, and I'm like, oh my god, this soundtrack is like outstanding. And then there's that wonder effect, right? So like each level has a song, and then there's the wonder effect song. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I absolutely love that soundtrack on the app. And yeah, like Balatro's like natural, or like, its soundtrack is very it's weird. I don't know. It's not bad, but it's like very ambient. So like having a more active one like during the day, I think especially is good. That's cool. So how's Balatro treating you?
I had the meanest run possible today. I had a series of jokers that like buffed multipliers and money gain for face cards. I got the smiley that gives you a multiplier on all face cards when they're played.
5x. Yeah,
I got
the 5x multiplier.
I got the Buskin card that makes every face card activate again.
Yep.
I got the photograph card that makes the first face card you play get a double multiplier.
Yep.
And then I get all these fantastic jokers. I get the strength tarot, and I turn like some 10 cards into jacks and get even more face cards. And then it hit me with the blind that debuffs all face cards.
I swear to God, the game is like, it pays attention to how you're building your deck, and it throws one of those blinds at you every round. Or not every round, but like every run. You're going to face one blind. Because that happened to me too. It wasn't the same thing, TJ, but like I built I guess I had like a kit together of my the things that I was buffing with the celestial cards, right? And then I think it was my whole deck, my whole whatever was built around playing pairs, right? Just pairs. And I got to a blind where it was like no pairs. I was just like, fuck. Like I was playing just 2 cards, and I was getting like between 5,000 and 10,000 points a hand, which would have been perfect for that round, but nope. It's like no pairs. I swear, the game looks at what you're doing and throws one of those at you.
It was like spoon feeding me that playstyle too. Like there was like the choices I was getting in the shop, and when my hand would come up, I was like, why would I not choose to invest in face cards when these are the jokers I'm getting and these are the tarot cards I'm getting?
Exactly.
And then it's like, I posted it on Twitter about it today. It's like being given an all-you-can-eat cake buffet, and then they send out the goon that eats cake to kick your ass.
Yeah. It's like a trap. I think last week I was like, I'm trying to play it less. I didn't play it less this week. I played it more. Like that game was the second screen experience for me this week. But yeah, man, that's hilarious, dude. I feel your pain, TJ. I don't know what else to say, but I feel your pain. That is very much the Balatro experience for me. That's why you have to hold on to those victories, man. Like they feel so good. because they don't come that often. Like, you can do everything right and you still lose. And that's like, that's just, it's tough. I think that's what makes it so great, though. But that is funny, man. I've had similar moments like that. But my most recent one was where it was like, no pairs allowed, and my whole deck was built for pairs.
Yeah, that is a devastator.
So what else have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Deadlock. I think I've said on previous episodes, I love that game. It's Valve's big new MOBA third-person shooter. I played. They recently opened up ranked, so I started seeing where I stack up online. I actually haven't looked to see where my particular tier is in the hierarchy of it, and I have a feeling I would be a little disappointed if I did. But I really like what Valve has done with that game as far as just like creating a compelling third-person MOBA. I've played a few of them, like Paragon and Smite, and it always feels like there's something missing that would really hooks you in. And I think it's maybe that Valve has good gunplay understanding and good physics understanding.
Well, they make engines, right? And like, there was it Source 2 that was used for Half-Life Alyx? Yeah, the physics engine is outstanding in that. The physics in that engine is outstanding. So yeah, I think they're very good at that. And also, like, you know, they've been developing Counter-Strike games for over a decade, and I think Counter-Strike is one of those more realistic shooters, you know, that has bullet drop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not that. And this game kind of, it feels like it took the learnings from TF2 and the learnings from Counter-Strike Go and, you know, maybe some learnings from Dota. And they kind of brought all of that forward. I find the game fascinating. I don't really like playing it, but I do think it's an interesting game to watch even.
It's a very, like a lot of MOBAs, it's got like, it's gotten to the point where if you don't know what you're doing when you go into a match, you're going to get probably crushed. And it's like, and that's one of the things I think they need to work on right now is that they don't really have rubber banding mechanics in this game yet.
Yeah, not at all.
So if you do get crushed, you're kind of just screwed for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like, I think it's probably one of the most interesting MOBAs I've played in a pretty long time. And I'm really interested to see where they keep going with it.
That's cool. So you're going to keep playing it?
Yep. And I actually started streaming it on the Shacknews Twitch channel.
That's right. You're playing it on Tuesday.
We opened it up and did ranked when the queues opened, and I'm probably going to keep doing that because people seem to enjoy the game, and I enjoy playing it.
Like I said, I enjoy watching it. I don't know if I don't know. I have never really, MOBAs have never really got me. Although this one is probably the most likely to get me because it is a third-person shooter. Like, it's not just an RTS style, you know, top-down MOBA where you click a bunch. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm interested to see where it goes, like how long it's going to take for it to go from early access or whatever this is. Is this alpha still or beta?
Yeah, this is still playtesting period.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder how long it's going to take for it to get from where it is right now to like being 1.0 and the accompanying esport that's going to arise from it, right? Because like, I don't think this is a mistake that it's coming out as Dota 2's popularity kind of wanes. Like, I think that's why it's being released at this time. So it seems like, I don't know, like we've been covering Dota 2 for years as an esport, and that prize pool has like plummeted in recent years.
Yeah,
for the international. So it's like, it feels like Valve. I don't know if Valve actually cares about esports, but it's pretty cool when your game is the number one esport on earth, right? It's free advertising and people are streaming their practice rounds and stuff. So like, if this game can become that replacement for them, I think it would be huge. And I think it's possible still.
The peak prize pool of Valve's international tournament was somewhere around 24 million, and I think that was in 2017.
Yeah.
In 2024, it was $2.6 million. That's such a massive drop.
And it's because they changed how everything worked with the compendium instead of the battle pass. And like, it pissed off their users multiple times. So yeah, it's a that game I think got long in the tooth. I think when Valve is making games, the whole industry is better off. So it's good that they're doing this.
Yeah.
And like compare, and I know it's not a 1-to-1 comparison because it's third person versus first person, but like I would much rather watch Deadlock than Valorant as an esport.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And like, I think to a certain degree, like Deadlock is still kind of twitchy when it comes to its movement, but there are a few limiters on it where you actually have there's like a dash button in the game, but you can't just spam it.
Yeah, it's got a cooldown.
You've got a stamina meter, and if you dash frequently, then you'll run out of dashes when you need them when you're in the middle of a fight.
Yep.
So they've made a lot of interesting decisions when it comes to the mechanics of that game, and I'm really, really
and
into
also
it
like
so far.
the locomotion with like the whole whatever zip lining into stuff, and
Yes,
it's just
so
fast.
it's so good for ambushes on the characters I play.
Yeah, it's just fast too. Like that just makes it. I think it's interesting because like part of what made Overwatch League hard to watch for me was how fast it was at times, and also just how chaotic it was. Because Overwatch League would use those like third person perspectives, right? But you would like look at this room, there's just crazy shit's happening in that room, and they like even the commentators couldn't keep up. It feels like Deadlock is still paced better. Like those encounters are not as chaotic, I don't think. But yeah, interested to see where that game goes from here. But it is pretty solid. Joe, you haven't tried it out yet, right?
I have not. I was wondering the Steam Deck viability of a game like that.
Don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, because it's still pretty early. Let me see here.
That would be my only way at the moment.
Yeah.
No Steam Deck compatibility on there yet.
I tried CS:GO 2 on Steam Deck. I think I said on the podcast, which is a Valve, like it's a first party thing, and that ran terribly on the Steam Deck. So it's not
optimized for it, and it's also I don't know if those games are good with a controller.
I did them out. I docked it to do that.
Oh my god, really? And it still ran poorly? Damn.
It was struggling to hit 60, and I would say that's the minimum acceptable frame rate for a game like that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, not me. Not playing it. But I enjoy it. I'm happy you're enjoying it, TJ. That's cool. And I see you played a little Metaphor, ReFantazio.
Yes. It's such as I want to talk about that game online more.
But you don't want to spoil it for anyone.
It's got such a good story. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like
that's where I'm at too. I'm like, all I can say is that I'm really enjoying it, and that story is it's almost too on the nose for 2024.
Yeah.
But I love the game. I love every aspect of it. Like we could talk about like I think we've already talked about like just how graphically impressive it is, how the design, something I noticed, Joe, like the text screens, and like you're just reading someone's text. Even like the box that the text is in is like animated and stylized. Like
it's gorgeous. Yeah.
There's just so many details in that game that are just like, you're like, God, it's perfectly crafted. No, I love that game. I'm still playing it too, TJ, but yeah, there's nothing we can say about it. It's good. Play it on your Nintendo Switch 2 next year.
Yeah.
Cool. John is not here, so I'm gonna just say he's probably playing Fortnite, driving around in a lowrider with his boys Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
Yeah, right.
That's actually happening in Fortnite right now, Joe.
Ice Spice. Oh, trust me, I know.
Do you see the Eminem gun?
I was gonna say they didn't even put Eminem in the game. They just put a gun that's like specifically about Eminem in there.
No, his skin is in the game. His skin it's in the item shop right now. But the gun I don't think is out yet. But the gun, have you heard the song Rap God?
I have not.
Oh, so I think it's safe to say that he raps at the fastest speed of his career in like the third verse of it. So when you pull the trigger, it just starts playing that verse. So it's like you pull the trigger and it's like Eminem lyrics coming out of your gun, and they're actual words flying out of your gun.
Wow.
It's so weird. Eminem has been in the game before, TJ. He was at the Fortnite Festival last year, I believe, or 2 years ago, where he played like a song. There was like a music event with him in it. It might have been before Fortnite Festival. So he's been in it before, and I think his character has been his skin before. But yeah, the new Eminem part of this is that there's a gun. And man... If you're going West Coast, you're going death row with this, or like, Compton, like, why not call Kendrick Lamar? Because that would have been hilarious. Because doesn't Drake love Fortnite? Putting Kendrick Lamar in Fortnite would have been funnier. I've also seen just people driving around with the lowrider, and it's bugged out as all shit. Like, all four wheels are like, you know how you have like hydraulics? Like the hydraulics are like 2 stories high for no reason. So you have this, like, it looks like a car driving around on stilts. I will say they did include the 3-wheel switch, which is where only one of your wheels goes up. So it's kind of like a head nod with your car. If they didn't do that, I was going to throw this whole update in the trash, but they did include that. I am so close to playing Fortnite because I just love hip hop so much that I'm like, maybe this is for me. Because, like, it's certainly not for its demographic, right? Like, the people who play Fortnite are like, who the hell is Snoop Dogg? Or, like, they only know Snoop Dogg as the guy from the Olympics or something. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just, before we move on from Fortnite, it's really weird. We've talked about this on the show quite a few times, Joe. The Crip Walk, how it's, like, infected my YouTube Shorts algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
It's an emote in Fortnite now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
it's following you.
No, not just that. Like, how did the Crip Walk become so mainstream? That's insane. That's really crazy. Like, good for them. Like, I was joking. I was like, I'm just waiting for the Crips to go, like, IPO. I want to buy the stock in the Crips now because they're just so mainstream. They're going to have a stock on the market or something. But, like, Crip cereal. Like, what else? Where are we going with this? And I still can't do it because I don't have the foot dexterity. It's too hard. But now I can do it in Fortnite.
Yeah, you just got to practice. You'll get there.
I can't, dude. I'm telling you, man. I played too much soccer growing up. My ankles are all fucked up. Now I got messed up Achilles.
Do you know what the worst part of Crip stock is? There's no way you could keep it from jumping the shark and going to cryptocurrency.
Oh, yeah. I was just sitting there.
No.
I was just sitting there.
Oh, no.
I'm sure there's a Crip Walk token already, TJ. Guaranteed. Sorry, I have to Google this now. Let's check if there's a Crip Walk token.
Coin.
Crip coin. Yeah, Crip Walk is in Decentraland. I don't know if it's a token. I don't know what Decentraland. It is a token. Yeah, it's a token. Yeah, never mind. It's a token in Decentraland. Because everything is. Is there a Shacknews token I don't know about? Probably. God. Anyway, you're right, though. That was just sitting there, TJ. Impressive. Joe, what the hell's going on here, man? You're playing Rebirth again?
Yeah, you can measure my mental health by what game I'm playing.
It's like a pendulum. You're swinging between okay and playing Rebirth, and then you're okay, and then you're playing Rebirth. So I'm worried. What happened?
I wanted to bring. I've always, like, on weeks I don't bring it up, I play a little Rebirth. I'm at the very end now, by which I mean I only have 15 hours left.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm in the final chapter, and my back of the napkin math puts me at, I think, 15 more hours. Insane. But I wanted to bring it up this week, because I didn't have anything to say last week, but I'm planting my flag. This is a bad game. And I do think we will look back on it with that lens. Remake did not have the first installment in this trilogy did not have that, the rose colored glasses are on for Rebirth right now, as I'm trying to say. And I do think we will look back and be like, that was a bad second installment. You're going from Remake being 35 hours conservatively, something like that. Really tight. Yes, it was a little one note because you're only in the same basic location.
Yeah, it's before you go out to the city.
Yeah, but they varied it with, going to Don Corneo's, labyrinth or whatever. And, there was plenty to see. Stuff that was, do. Yeah, not the slums. And
they had Chadley with his whole battle simulator thing.
They had Chadley, so you could go into VR in a game. Yeah. But more to my point, I think is just the game was very tight. And now I just hit 99 hours this morning on Rebirth. And I don't remember feeling this way about the first, about Remake, where the combat is showing, it seems to me, the particle effects, even just the design of certain bosses they're throwing at you, where they are clearly, the game designer is like, well, what are we going to do this time? You know, and in the case of Rufus, which you fight in the first game, the Rufus Shinra, the titular Shinra company head, who is the son of I guess the founder, for the lore heads out there. His fight was very challenging in the first game, and it is unique in that there's lots of cancels, and you know you can't approach him the way you approach other fights because he basically immediately counters any attack that you hit him with, and got to get him at a certain key moment when he's reloading, and I don't exactly remember, but it's something like that. In this game, they throw that kind of fight right after another boss fight. You have no health. It's a one-on-one, so they rip your party out. You don't have access to the menu, so you can't adjust your materia in this case to improve your odds, considering they took away your party. Like I said, you're coming off of a boss fight with just a cutscene in between these two moments, and it just screams to me. It's like, what are we doing? Like the design of this game, on top of it being long-winded, I'm just finding to be silly and not thoughtful. And you know, it came to a boiling point. I got past Rufus. I don't want anybody in the comments saying Joe couldn't handle Rufus. Rufus is done. Okay, we got Rufus. That's fine. It's just more to the point that I don't feel the same sense of directorial confidence that I felt in the first game. Yeah, and then just to really, really lay into this point, it is too long. You don't have enough to say. We haven't done anything. The party hasn't gone anywhere of consequence. We're finally in the place that they've been talking about since the beginning of the game, but we did not need 90 hours to get there. Just truly a train wreck of a directorial game design, in my opinion. So I will end this portion of my podcast time by saying, why am I playing it? There's too many games out, and I am having that guilty feeling. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, of like, I started these games, especially a Final Fantasy game, of which I attribute a lot of my game fandom to the franchise. Sure. And I feel like I gotta finish it. And, you know, I'm coming off of the most recent two Final Fantasies being abysmal in my opinion. I don't know if I'm getting old. I am getting old, certainly. Yeah, you are. But I don't know if that's why. That's like, I don't. Okay, good. Well, Final Fantasy 16 was bad. Really bad. I think the story more than the gameplay, but the gameplay also was not great. 15 I didn't think was terrible. I liked 15. Yeah. What are you considering the last two? The last two releases, as in Rebirth and 16. Oh, okay. So so Rebirth is one of the two. Okay, because I was like, is he talking about 15? Okay, no. So yeah, Rebirth and 16. I haven't, honestly, Joe, because of this podcast, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I don't think I ever will, because everything sounds like a goddamn nightmare. I don't want to play that. The only thing I'm even remotely interested in is the Golden Saucer and that Star Fox mini game. That's it. You're fine. You don't need to. Need to play that. I know I don't. That's like it, though. That was like the one time where I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I was like, how long would it take me to even get to that? Oh, 40 hours. No, I'm good. More than that, probably. It's the westernification of this franchise, too. It's like the old Ubisoft. It's like the Assassin's Creed formula. I know this is not a hot take, right? But I'm just saying it's the Assassin's Creed formula applied to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Mm-hmm. Man, what a bad recipe. And there's been a couple moments in this final stretch where I'm getting just that fandom bubbling up occasionally bubbling up, like, oh man, what's going to happen to Aerith? You know, like I'll have like a moment of like, oh, that's right. That's what's happening in this game. And you made me forget about the stakes. You made me forget about like characters that I actually like. You made me cynical about this game because of how awful the bloat and the meat of this game is. It is so bad. And I don't mean to say any of that with hyperbole. I just cannot believe the decisions to stretch this thing out to the extent that it was. Awful. I think the answer is no, but have you played Final Fantasy 14?
online?
No, I haven't. I don't know if that one's for me.
It's probably not.
I don't have an MMO.
But like out of everything going on in that over at that studio right now, it seems like the fans are happiest over there.
Yes, you're right. What I think is interesting to me about where the franchise stands is that a couple years ago, let's say pre-15, there was a lot of talk of like, man, Square Enix or maybe Japanese development, or maybe even more specifically, Japanese RPGs. I know that's maybe a loaded term that we're not supposed to use, but I think we all know what I mean. There was a lot of questions and discourse about whether that country's development industry could meet the standard. You know, it had a lot to do with high definition or whatever. Could they be pulled out of the PS2 era and release something on, you know, PlayStation 4 that mattered? And obviously they can, and we're past that now. But that used to be the big concern. And now what I think about is the bastardization of all of these decades of game design principles. Japanese game development is the best when it's humming.
Yeah.
They take away traditionally they take away the fluff that Western studios seem to be addicted to. Let's say the prioritizing aesthetics, form over function, I guess is what I mean. Western studios to me are based on form over function. And I always like Japanese developed games because it was more of a, here's a tabletop game that is digital. It was almost designed in a way that like, here's my game concepts and we're going to put it on a PlayStation, but it could be played anywhere. It's all about like number crunching and all these thoughtful systems that interact and talk to each other. And Rebirth is an example of like, that's been abandoned. It's all fluff.
I don't know if you read or heard any of the GDC talk about Tears of the Kingdom's design, but they did a talk. Usually when Nintendo talks about Zelda at GDC, it's usually worth going back into the vault and listening to. But I remember a couple stories that came out about how, and I know Zelda's not an RPG, whatever. It's an adventure game. But it's the way that they designed Tears of the Kingdom. They made the gameplay mechanics before they even knew what game it was going to be in. So like Ultra Hand was just the thing they created. And they're like, we should put this in a game. It's fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, I think, part of what you're talking about is like start with fun and then figure out everything else. Yeah. And I think that is something that all game developers need to do, and not all of them do. And I think there's some indies in America that do that really well, you know?
Definitely.
And that's
a set of those. 100%, because their limitations are an indie studio or indie developer, a solo dev is like, well, I can't do these 4K cutscenes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the only thing I have at my disposal is my brain that can come up with a tasty loop for a game. And that's why traditionally in the past 5 years, that's my favorite stuff. It's not because I'm hip, you know, like it used to be like, I only like indie music. I only like indie games lately because they're thoughtful. Yeah.
You like Celeste
really thoughtful.
It's like a masterpiece. Like Celeste is a masterpiece of level design and gameplay mechanics and like, I think that's an interesting point you make. And it's definitely lost over there in some of these bloated RPGs. I think bloated is the right term for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And last thing I'll say, like, I'm not trying to yucky yum. Like, I know the game is reviewed well. I know Donovan liked it. I'm sure other people on staff liked it.
Who reviewed it? Jesse Vitelli reviewed it and gave it an 8.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was...
So that was lower than most outlets.
Yeah. Besides,
it got a lot of 9s
10,
and 10s. Huh?
That's fine. I concede that, like, it could work for you. You know, that's fine. But I think that my take is completely underrepresented, and I cannot be alone in how I feel about this thing.
You're not at all. I feel like on our staff, Ozzy's the one who's still suffering through it. And he just had to play through. He had no time for Final Fantasy, but we'll get to that here in another segment.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for bloviating.
No,
Asif, what have you?
I love hearing you talk about a video game that you're playing because it's just amazing. You know, you're playing a video game. Hooray! Although, god damn it, can you play a better video game?
Oh yeah. So I touched on it. I'm trying to get through. I had that guilt. Do you guys feel that way? Do you get like guilt about? I mean, I know you get a lot of codes for your job, which maybe I can't relate to, but spent $70 on Rebirth. I'm trying to get through it.
I mean, I think TJ probably goes through more games in a year than I do. I've only reviewed one game this year at Shacknews. TJ, I don't know how many you've reviewed. You probably don't know how many you've reviewed.
Yeah, there's a lot. I couldn't even begin.
But like, I don't think TJ runs into that problem as much because he's assigned a review and he has to play through it or whatever.
Yeah.
The one that I it's like out there, it's over my head. And even this week I was thinking about it, and we'll get to, there's some news about this franchise that we'll get to later, is Death Stranding. Mm-hmm. I never beat it. I actually like it, and I want to go back to it. I constantly am like, God damn it, I should probably play that game. But now the one that came out this year that I'm feeling guilty about not finishing is Astrobot. I just haven't been able to get back to it because I got the key for Zelda like the week that Astrobot came out, and I had like 3 days where I was just playing Astrobot every night. And I know it's not that long of a game. I just haven't been able to get back to it yet. So I do have some of that. I don't feel guilt when I don't finish a game. I don't.
Yeah.
If it's not,
I mean, you shouldn't.
If it's not good enough, like this, like I would not. I'm not even buying this game. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Well, sure. Listen, I'm going to concerts, and like this is my favorite stuff. And I'm, there's games I don't finish. Certainly, I do try to finish, but there are games that I don't finish. This one it's silly, right? Like it's as if
long.
I have a Final Fantasy tattoo. I don't, but if I had a tattoo, maybe I would. It's that kind of fandom I have.
Yeah, no, I know, and like I'm trying to think. Like most of the games that are like, I guess Persona 5 Royal. I feel bad that I haven't finished it because I really do like it. It's the games that I like that I haven't finished that I feel most guilty about.
Yeah.
And there are not many of those because if I like a game, I usually won't make the time for it. It's just that Death Stranding is very long, as is Persona 5 Royal. Is like, and Metaphor is really long too. Like that's the one where I'm like, I'm concerned I'm not going to finish it before the end of the year. And I have to vote for Game of the Year. And I feel like the story is a huge part of Metaphor. So yeah, I need to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would say that there's like an unevenness about Death Stranding. Metaphor Fantasia has been pretty good and even like maybe even a bit better as it goes on.
Yeah.
Death Stranding has some very specific parts where it's like, when you're trying to get through them.
I agree.
Oh no, the game is depressing.
Yeah.
It's just depressing. And it's like, the world's depressing enough. So it's like, it's hard. I got to a part in that game where it's like a very spiritual low for the game. Like, you're just like, God damn it, that sucked. Like, you do something and you, like, feel bad. Which, in my opinion, that's the sign of a really well-made game, if it can make you feel something like that. Right. But it made me not want to play it for over a year now. So that's a game that I feel that way about, Joe. But yeah, usually I'll get around to beating a game if I really love it. So yeah, you guys, Joe asked already, but here's what I've been playing. I'm still playing Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm doing it for free. I'm not paying for the time gate thing or anything. So just basically once or twice a day, I'll open a pack. I got the sweet card art Charizard. So cool. I'm the best. I'm pretty excited about that. It's funny because I never was into collecting Pokemon cards like in real life because they're expensive and people were fighting over them and stuff. But like, I enjoy this app. That simple part of Pokemon where you just fill up your Pokédex. It's there, and I'm enjoying that. So I'm playing it as a casual. I'm not actually competing or anything yet. But I enjoy Pokemon TCG Pocket, a mobile app from the Pokemon Company. And I'm still playing Balatro. Man, that thing on mobile. You want to hear what I did? I made a huge step, Joe, on my not using Twitter.
Okay.
I've removed Twitter from my homepage on my phone, and I replaced it with Balatro. So you know how you have muscle memory, like on your phone, you unlock your phone, and you just go to something.
Sure, yes.
So I have successfully prevented myself from going to Twitter at least 12 times in the last half a day since I did this.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm playing more Balatro. So it's great.
Yeah, you may have replaced smoking with alcoholism.
You know what? To hell with my liver. But like, honestly, dude, it's an improvement, because not every time. Yeah, because like I open it, but I'm not playing Balatro every time I open it. But it's just
right. Yes,
it's stopping me from going to the hell site, and it's working. I also set my account
a hell
private.
site right now. Yeah,
I also set my account private because they have removed the block feature. The block feature no longer works as a block. People can cyberstalk you unless you have a private account.
Right.
So I've gone private on my account. Everyone's going to Blue Sky except for me. I'm going to Cortex. So if you want to follow my financial takes or anything else, that's where that will be. I mentioned I'm playing Metaphor. I have nothing to say about it except that like I got a bunch of like potions and stuff, you know, so that I can go back into the first dungeon. So I'm like ready to do that. I feel like I'm close to the end, but every time I say that, there's like another battle in that freaking cathedral. So we'll see how far I am. I love it. I love that game. It's great. Oh, I found last night the algorithm smiled upon me, and it was Metaphor. It was Metaphor's battle theme mixed with the song from Space Jam, and it was flawless.
Great.
So anyway, shout out to that thing. I'm gonna put it in evening reading tonight. Obviously, because I'm playing Metaphor, and because I'm playing Balatro, and because I have my eyes glued on the television, maybe on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, I haven't been playing as much F-Zero, but I did play some F-Zero 99.
What?
I know, shocking. So here's what's going on now. Basically, at least several times a week, I'm not winning, but I am first place in a race. Like during the race, I find myself in first place now. Which was like, you know, that wasn't the case. It's so hard to stay in front in that game, you guys. It's very hard. So it's like I get into first in the second lap and the third lap, and then like I run out of boost or like whatever. I hit a wall or I hit a drone or whatever, and I drop down, and then like I finished like 7th. So that's been frustrating. But yeah, like I'm consistently finishing top 10, top 5. And then like when I do fail, I fail spectacularly. Like I'm in, 80th place or whatever.
Right.
So still digging it very much. They did have a special event last weekend that pissed me off. It was a mini pre where it was random vehicle selection. So I was just like, no, I'm not playing this mode. I have never played that game without piloting the fire Stingray, and I won't do it. So anyway, been playing that. Now let's talk about the newest thing that I've been playing. And it's not a game, it's an app.
Okay. All right.
I've been playing Nintendo music. And yeah, TJ's like, oh, you can play Balatro with the Mario Wonder soundtrack. I have applied this app to my life, Joe. This app was made for me, dude. Like, seriously. Last night, it was garbage night. You know how I motivate myself to take out the garbage? I throw on the Hyrule Overworld theme from Ocarina of Time. And I make it a damn adventure to go out there and throw out the trash. And then when I come inside, I play the fanfare from when Mario hits the flag in Super Mario Bros. 8-bit.
You gotta get a smart home setup.
When I'm doing dishes, I'm playing the Animal Crossing Clear Night 5 p.m. theme. Like when I'm driving, Joe, I'm playing the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe soundtrack. Specifically, Rainbow Road 64. That song slaps.
Did they re-record, just unrelated to the app, is the Mario Kart 64 Rainbow Road song orchestrated?
Yes.
Or is it the cut from 64?
It's not the cut from 64. All these Mario Kart 8 Deluxe songs are the version from the game.
I can't hear anything over my kids shouting, so...
All of these songs are from the latest version of the game. And I think the thing that people who are really quick to just ignore this app, like you get all these boss battle themes without the sound effects.
Sure.
Like, you don't have to hear, you got boost power. You don't have to hear people hitting the mushroom or getting hit by a shell. You know what I mean? Like, because, yes, these songs exist on YouTube, but they've never been isolated.
Right.
That's what makes this app awesome. And we're talking about 4 hours of music just from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's crazy. This on Tuesday, you know what I played while I was watching the polls come in? They have the music from the Everybody Votes channel.
Oh.
Yeah, they have the Wii eShop music, Joe. They have Donkey Kong Country's music just earlier today.
So you use the extend feature, right?
I mean, it depends. It depends if I want to listen to something for 60 minutes. If I do, I do. I was just listening to Ganon's Tower earlier today. Donkey Kong Country. Talk about some bangers from Donkey Kong Country, dude. The Bonus Room Blitz, the DK Island Swing, outstanding songs. They have the Dr. Mario soundtrack. Chill from Dr. Mario is maybe one of the best songs Nintendo's ever made.
Wow.
I love that chiptune sound, right? So like some of the Kirby music is in here. There is no Smash Brothers in here yet, but we mentioned, you can listen to Smash Bros music inside of Smash. But yeah, right. Like David Wise is outstanding, obviously.
And that's the Donkey Kong stuff, right?
Yes. And I listened to the entire Star Fox 64 soundtrack back to front to back. And I got to the end. It made me think about the game. So I watched the ending of the game. And before Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion, the best ending to a Nintendo game was Star Fox 64. The good ending. And I still just am like, God damn, I want a new Star Fox game. They have the Nintendog soundtrack in here. They have multiple Metroid soundtracks. Dude, Metroid's music is so creepy when you're not playing it's creepy when you're playing the game, but if you just have it on, it is spooky music.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about maybe one of the best soundtracks ever? Super Mario Galaxy is in here.
Oh, the best.
It's so good. And obviously Mario Odyssey is outstanding. The Splatoon music's really good. The amount of Animal Crossing music they gave us is insane. They have Breath of the Wild in here. So if you like specific songs in Breath of the Wild, you can just pull them up. They have Pikmin 4, which the menu for Pikmin 4 is outstanding. Basically, all I'm getting at is like my YouTube usage has plummeted and my Apple Music app like usage has plummeted and my Nintendo Music usage is going through the roof. And this is, to your point earlier, this is without a ubiquitous amount of music right now. It could be better, right? The amount of stuff that they're offering, but they're doing that thing that they do. It's going to be that drip drop, right? So since launch last week, Mario Wonder has been added and Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest has been included. So yeah.
That drip that you mentioned, it has interesting consequences when we talk about our big news story later on.
I agree. But and we'll talk about how this is part of the future of Nintendo. Like this is the one of the first things they've done where it's not Nintendo Switch, but it uses a Nintendo Switch Online account to unlock the content, right?
Right.
So I think that we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Nintendo Music has improved my quality of life. Just period. End of story. My negatives on it, they don't credit the composers in the app. They just credit Nintendo for everything. That's lame. They should credit their composers.
They should. So should Apple Music. It's not always easy to find out that stuff.
No, but like Nintendo with this whole Nintendo Museum push they're doing with like a reverence for their history, this would be a great way to do that. And they're not. And I don't know if you included it in our news. I don't think you did. We'll just mention it here. The composer of both Breath of the Wild and was it TJ? Was it Animal Crossing?
Yeah, Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Yeah, they announced that they're leaving Nintendo this week.
They announced that they had left Nintendo.
I had left Nintendo. Sorry. Yeah.
A year ago.
But yeah, so that sucks because Breath of the Wild is outstanding. But Nintendo has no shortage of amazing people making music over there. But I wish they cared about those people more. It's always the company's bigger than everyone. And when it comes to music, I want to know who made it. I want to celebrate them. And even though like Ozzy wrote a great opinion piece on this, he says Nintendo Music celebrates the songs without the art, while ignoring the artist or something. And I agree with that sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, talk about a banger, completely unexpected thing. And it was like a week after I was ranting about how Nintendo doesn't sell soundtracks. So once again, shout out Doug Bowser for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we love that. Now, do you prefer this solution to like just like normal distribution?
So you're saying like, would I rather be able to buy this?
It's like there's a parallel universe where they're like, now on limited run, you can buy the album to Mario Odyssey, and you can buy the album to, whatever. And like, so they could do that too if they wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to give you two answers. One as a consumer and one as a shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
As a consumer, no, I want to be able to buy music. This is fine, but it's not on par with what I would want. We were talking about put these on vinyl, watch how much money you make, but also like that would be a cool collectible. But from a shareholder perspective, this is brilliant. It costs you $0 more to get this, Joe, if you already have Switch Online.
Yep.
That's a huge value add for me. And it's implying that the thing that Nintendo's been worst at is continuity. And we'll get to this here very shortly, but like,
yeah,
this is a sign of things to come from Nintendo, and I think it's a good thing.
Sweet.
But no, I would prefer to be able to purchase music from them, even if it was directly from their website or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it's stupid that Jump Up Superstar is like one of the only things they've ever made that's on iTunes. It's also dumb that the Mario movie soundtrack isn't on this app.
Oh, true.
Like, what? But it is for sale. That's one of the things that you are able to buy on iTunes. So, I don't know. But I think it's interesting that Nintendo's like, screw your 30% Apple. Screw your 30% Spotify. We're going to make our own damn app. Like, I think that's cool. And I think
it is. Yeah.
Not many companies can do this. Not many companies have this kind of portfolio. That's what's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, love Nintendo Music. Anyway, we should get to the game that you got for us.
We should. Let's take a quick break, and we will dive into a beloved game. All right, today's game is entitled 19Q Magoo. Asif has played this game before as a passenger in his Tesla, perhaps. And now he'll have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, yelling at my phone while I hear you guys mess up. Yep.
And this game is basically a spin-off of 20 Questions, which maybe you have played before, TJ or Asif. 20 Questions, of course, if you have no idea what that is a game where one person, me, holds something in their head and can receive 20 questions from participants and only reply yes or no to them. And then the goal of the contestants is to determine what that thing in the person's head is via those 20 questions. So the spin is you get one less question on 19Q Magoo because the implied first question is this a game? And the answer is yes.
That's right.
Little nostalgia there for some of you, perhaps.
I remember Cartridge Family.
Yep. So, fellas, I have a game, and I learned this from doing several of these in the past. I have a game's Wikipedia up because I'm sure you will throw me some curveballs. But basically, you have already implicitly answered the question, is this a game? And I have said yes. And now you have 19 more questions, which I will keep track of. And basically, you can start at any point.
Okay. So who goes first?
It's up to you guys. I suggest alternating, but start with whoever you like.
TJ, you go first.
Oh, you know what? I should also say another learning I had was I might say maybe. That happened occasionally in the past. And yes, no.
Oh, that's right. So wait, if TJ goes first, that means I'm asking questions or you're asking questions? Are you playing, Joe?
I'm not playing. I've got the answer to the question, and you guys will alternate asking me questions 19 times.
Okay. My bad. Got it. Okay. Yeah, TJ, go for it.
Is it an open world game?
No.
Is it a side-scrolling game? Like 2D? No. Not open world, not side-scrolling, TJ.
Does it have a party-based system?
No.
Is it an Xbox Game Studios game? He's thinking.
Well,
I understand they may have acquired a studio.
no, more semantic is my hesitation here. Yes, Microsoft Game Studios.
Oh, okay. TJ, are you keeping track of how many questions we're doing?
You guys are good. Go for it.
Okay, just making sure.
Is it a job simulator of some kind?
No.
That was a good question, TJ. Is it a Ninja Theory game?
No.
Okay.
Does it have strategy elements?
No.
Is it?
No.
Sorry.
You can see why sometimes the answer might be maybe, because there's some subjectivity here, but I'm going to say no.
Okay. Is it a first-person game? That could be adventure or shooter.
Please limit your question to one. One
Is
question.
it a first-person shooter?
No.
Okay.
Is it an action RPG?
No. By the way, I did not make this clear. One of you will win.
How? But neither of us get it?
So you'll say, is it Super Mario Brothers Wonder or whatever?
Yeah.
That's how you win.
No, I understand that, but we're nowhere near that.
No, you're not. I'm saying, but this is not a group effort. It's not a group effort.
Yeah, no, I've heard the game before. Is it a third-person shooter?
Yes.
That helps, TJ.
Is it a sequel or is it an original?
That's a great question.
Oh, no, that's not a yes or no, though. Is it a sequel?
Is it a sequel?
It is not a sequel.
Wow. Is it an Unreal Engine game?
Let me see.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. If you have good trivia knowledge of Unreal Engine games, let's see.
It'd be easy to Google the game and see what engine it is. It's a third-person Microsoft Gaming Studios game, TJ.
No, it is not Unreal Engine.
Interesting. And it's not a sequel.
Correct. Question 13 goes to TJ.
This is. I'm just gonna go ahead and ask. Is it Gears of War 1?
No, it's not Unreal Engine.
Right. But,
I'm just gonna guess. Is it Crackdown?
No.
Oh, this is gonna be what the fuck is that game called?
Question 15 to TJ.
right. Does it have a cel shaded art style?
No.
Was this game the only entry in the series?
No.
Well, that's useful, but that sucks because that kills my guess. Oh man.
17 to TJ.
Damn.
Oh boy, this is a tough one. Is it a sandbox game?
No.
I should probably guess, right? Because this is my last question.
This is your last question, Asif. I got one more game. You can go first next time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Third person, Microsoft Gaming Studio. It did have a sequel. It's not Gears. It's not Crackdown. It's not open world. This is hard. It's not cel shaded, right? TJ, you asked that.
Trying to figure out what that meant. Or what,
He was trying to find out if it was Hi-Fi Rush. I think that's my guess. That's not what I'm guessing. I'm just thinking that might have been what he was going for. Is it State of Decay?
No.
That was worth a shot.
Final question. Will you be the Magoo or will I?
Is it... Man, the only thing I can think of that fits all those categories. I'm going to go with what I thought I was going to go with. Is it Sunset Overdrive?
It is not Sunset Overdrive, which means I am the Magoo. Any last, non-counting guesses?
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
No. The correct game I am looking for is Alan Wake.
Oh.
Alan Wake?
That's Microsoft Gaming Studio?
It sure is. Published by Microsoft Game Studios.
Well done, Joe. So I'm the questioner now.
Oh, you get the first question. Or if you'd like to play and try and stump TJ and I, that would be fine too. It's up to you.
Oh, like I pick a game?
It's up to you, however you want to play.
I'd like to pick a game.
Okay, great.
I have a game in mind already.
Sweet.
So, Joe, if you want to go first.
Sure.
Are you going to keep track of the questions?
I will write the questions, yeah.
Okay.
Was this game released after 2007?
No. TJ?
Is this a Nintendo game?
When you ask that, are you asking if it released on a Nintendo system or did Nintendo develop
If it's a Nintendo published game.
Yes. Joe?
Was this game released on the Nintendo GameCube?
No. The original release? No.
Is this game in a sci-fi universe?
No. I'd say, I don't have to provide anything other than no, right?
No, but I'm hearing the soft no.
It's
You don't have to say anything else unless you're taking back what you said.
No, I don't have to say anything else. I won't say anything else. It's not sci-fi.
So before 2007,
yep.
Published by Nintendo, not
Correct.
Released on GameCube.
Correct.
Not a sci-fi universe.
Correct.
Was this game released on the N64?
No.
Is this game a 2D side scroller?
No.
We got to nail down the console here. Was this released on the SNES?
The Super Nintendo Entertainment System?
Correct.
Nope. Oh, we're talking about original release here.
Well, no. You're talking about whatever you're talking about.
I'm talking about original release. No. Because like virtual console is just like I don't want to get into that.
No. That doesn't count, right? You could play Alan Wake on
exactly that.
Everything.
Okay, cool. Yeah, original release. No. So I think you've nailed down what system it came out on, or you're close. You're close at the very least. Because you have eaten up a lot of questions asking about platform.
Yeah, we've done 7.
Is this game a sequel?
No.
Okay, so it's an original release, presumably for the NES, or the Game Boy, I guess is possible.
You were trying to bait me into giving you the platform there.
No. I'm just thinking out loud because it's a podcast. If I don't talk, nothing's happening.
Well, I get it, but I can't talk because then I'd be giving away hints for free.
Of course. No, I'm talking to the proverbial listener.
I get it.
Not a sequel, not a sci-fi universe. Is this a Zelda franchise game?
No.
Question 10.
We'll see. We're halftime here.
Is it a puzzle game?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, before 2007, published by Nintendo, not released on GameCube, not a sci-fi universe.
Not released on N64.
Or SNES.
Not released
presumably on NES. It is a puzzle game, not a Zelda franchise. Is this Tetris for NES?
No. I love that game, but no.
Is this Adventures of Lolo for NES?
Yes.
All right.
Well done, TJ.
Once I got past the puzzle game question, I knew.
I knew it. I was like, fuck, he got me.
Wow.
The only reason he got that is I won't shut up about this game.
It's a good one, though.
I love it. It's bring back Lolo. We need Lolo. Best character that Nintendo has forgotten about.
So
have you
I
ever
think
played
this
the game?
counts. I would never have gotten that because I've only heard of it, and I don't even think I have a strong memory of that. So well done. TJ's the Magoo.
Yeah. Well done. So yeah. I don't know. Do you want to do your third one, Joe? Or are we good?
Or I could offer the puck to TJ if he's interested.
Yeah. TJ, do you want to do one?
I'll let Joe do it.
All right. Yeah. What other game? I guess I get to ask a question first this time, Joe. Right?
You get to ask a question first.
Is this a PlayStation game?
No.
I like the question. Was it released after 2007?
Yes.
Is this a Nintendo game published by Nintendo?
Yes.
There we go.
Is this a platform?
No.
Is this an RPG?
No.
It's not an RPG and it's not a platformer. Is this a puzzle? Is this a puzzle game?
No.
Is this The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No.
That was worth a shot.
Half court.
You know, I was like, let's see if I can just snipe this one. Nope. Yeah, it's worth a guess.
Does this game have an open world?
Better question that I asked.
The traditional meaning of open world, no.
And you said this is not a platformer, right?
Not a platformer.
Did this release on Nintendo Switch, like originally?
Originally on the Switch, no.
Okay. So after 2007, not a Switch release. Okay.
And is it a Zelda game?
No.
Is it Zombie U?
Again with the buzzer beater or the half-court chat. No.
Not traditional.
Throwing out deep cuts here, Joe.
Can this game be played multiplayer?
Yes.
Is this a Wii U game?
No.
Is this a Mario game?
No.
Oh.
15th question goes to Asif.
Is this Wii Sports?
No.
Jeez. Not a traditional open world. It's a Nintendo game. Is it a shooter?
Not a shooter.
Is it Super Smash Bros. Brawl?
No. And didn't that come out before 2007?
I don't think so. Did it? The Brawl
you're right.
was Brawl was
you're
Wii.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. TJ, this is your last one.
I know. I'm trying to think of an open world that isn't an open world in a Nintendo game.
I feel bad about that. That's one of those. That's a weird one. That's a weird question to answer.
Oh shit.
Is it Mario Golf?
No.
No.
Well, I really screwed the pooch on this round. Is it Animal Crossing New Leaf?
Holy crap! Yes.
What? Wow.
Wow.
Poor baby.
You just keep throwing Hail Marys until you find the end zone.
Whoa.
Yeah. Magoo. It's a three-way tie.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Wow. No, not. Yeah. Okay. You're right. I got the first round. Sure. Wow. Nicely done. How did you get there?
Your whole open world, but not it. I was like, what game fits into that? And then also like, the whole time I was narrowing down the console that we were on, or I kept thinking, oh, I'm doing home console, and then I'm like, Nintendo post 2007 DS was like king.
Yep.
And I was just like, I bet it's New Leaf. I don't know. I was just shot in the dark, like all those other guesses I had.
Dang.
Oh man, what an amazing guess and run.
Sniped. Yeah.
19
Nicely done.
Magoo still doing work here, man. Still a good game, man. Appreciate it.
We sometimes in a rough week for personal reasons and external reasons, you gotta throw back to old favorites.
Awesome. Well, we'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Dragon Quest III. We're in Previewza here, which is a preview palooza with your friends at Shacknews. Lucas White previewed Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Said it really wants to keep you on track. It seems like it's pretty sweet. The graphical bump. Yeah. I don't know.
Looks
Did you
good.
play the original?
A little bit, yeah.
Are
On,
you interested
iPhone.
in this one?
Yeah, I don't love what I've read about Lucas's preview, and everyone is saying the same thing. That seems to be the headline, where it's like, "Hey, over here,"
Yeah.
and there's some charm lost with that.
Mhm.
Like I like some middle ground there. I think.
Yeah, because like those early, this era of RPG, especially the ones made in Japan, like you had to just figure shit out. It wasn't, nothing was handed to you. So to put that in the game, yeah, I do think that's a minus. Or maybe if they like offered a way to remove it or turn it off, that would be better.
Setting. Right.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
you have to acknowledge that that's part of the game to a certain extent.
yeah, and but to be honest, from like the kids' perspective, it's one of the most frustrating parts of those games, though.
Totally.
Like,
Totally. Yeah.
And the amount of times I would walk around in circles in a Dragon Warrior game, not knowing what I was doing. Admittedly, I was like 5 or 8 years old at the time, but like, yeah, I think that's something that kids are going to benefit from. But someone who's already played the game that's ancient like us, I don't think it's going to work. So yeah, Reviewza. This is the Reviews Palooza by Shacknews. We got a Metal Slug Tactics review. I know, Joe, you've been looking forward to this game for years. It got an 8 out of 10 from Will Borger. Borger? Whatever.
We got to ask him.
One of these days, he's going to hear this podcast and he's going to tell me. But until then, I will make this joke. But really, it's just because I want to pronounce people's names correctly.
Sure.
Because I get the whole foreignization of my name all the time. It's just always funny. Obviously, Will, I don't think, has the same problem. Some of the positives, he says it looks and sounds incredible, challenging and engaging tactical gameplay, which seems important in a tactics game. Syncing attacks feels incredible. That's cool. Just the actual look at the gameplay looks pretty fun, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And then varied missions force you to adapt on the fly. Boss fights are a blast. That's always cool. Because like some of these tactics games, they kind of they skimp out on the boss battles. Like they just feel like not even a bigger version of another enemy. So I think that's cool. And also, Metal Slug is like known for that. Like their boss battles are cool. So it's good to see that translated over to this other genre. Easy to reset or turn or undo a movement if you make a mistake. By the way, I like that about Metaphor, where you can hit the L analog in just to restart the battle. That is a great quality of life improvement. Some of the negatives, he said there's a lot of systems which can be overwhelming at first. It isn't always easy to tell what the range is on a certain attack. That can be annoying. Sometimes you're just going to lose because it's a roguelike. Yeah, I know that feeling. I think TJ was just talking about that with Balatro.
Yeah.
And he says he kind of wishes it wasn't a roguelike and we got to explore the systems over a longer campaign. That is the one negative that I'm kind of worried about too.
Same here. And I didn't know that. And like that took me from launch day excited to, all right, I'll get to this.
It's like Black Friday or Steam sale. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when it's a roguelike, like there is, Hades showed us that you can do an ending on them. But generally speaking, it's mostly about failing and then trying a randomized thing out. And you don't really get a sense of progression out of that part of a roguelike.
Well, Reviews continues us on, right? We're going to trademark continues us.
Contusa.
Contusa. Ozzy reviewed Mario and Luigi Brothership. This is a banger. This game's awesome. I don't know what else to say. Like, go play it. It's stunning. The graphics are, I shouldn't say graphics because it's still 1080p on a Switch or whatever, but the art style of this game, the art direction is outstanding. The music is extremely good. It's a Strand game about connecting a disconnected world. It has so many puns in it. It is, if you're a fan of corny dad jokes, this is your game.
Sick.
And it has this thing called Luigi Intelligence. Who needs AI? You got Luigi Intelligence. I'm in. I'm so in. I don't know if you can tell. I'm in. Ozzy gave it a 9 out of 10. We have gameplay up on YouTube if you want to just watch the early part of it. There's a flying pig-like character named Snoutlet, but early on he makes sure to let you know that what appears to be a snout on his face is actually his eyes, and he's not a pig.
Oh.
And he lives in Luigi's hat now. Anyway, that's like literally from the first 5 minutes of the game. Everything I've read, everything I talked to Ozzy about, this sounds hilarious. And it's from the Octopath devs.
Yes. That's what made me go from, like, that was the opposite of what Joe was just saying about. That made me go from to, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, like, I'm super in. I would be playing this if I wasn't in Metaphor right now. I'm like, I can't, to your point, Joe, I can't start this when I'm still working on Metaphor. Like, no. I don't know how I'm supposed to play both of these at once.
No, that would be shameful.
But this is so cool. And like, I love games that elevate Luigi. This is one of these games. Luigi's
right,
not just...
Luigi's
great.
Luigi? No, I love... No counterpoint to that. I'm saying counterpoint to the excitedness of playing this. We're going to get to it in the next segment. I would wait on this one. I think this one will get the Switch 2 bump that puts it over the top.
Okay. And then, I think Bill talked about this a little last week when he was on the show, but he liked COD.
Yeah.
COD Blops 6. He likes it.
He's not alone.
Yeah. I recommend you read his whole review, but his pro and cons list is maybe one of the funnier ones we've done this year. Or we've posted. He gave it an 8 out of 10. He said, begrudgingly, he likes the Omni movement. Bill is colorblind, so he really appreciates in-depth colorblind settings, and this game has that. memo to Nintendo if you ever want to get Bill on your good side. Progression is addictive. He likes the 90s spy theme during the campaign, which is not all throughout the campaign, but it is there. Mentioned he likes how the grenades work. He likes Nuketown. Who doesn't? There's a guy in the game who looks like Robert Redford, so he put Robert Redford for some reason. And one of the pros is being able to disable voice chat. His cons: the campaign crashes like a lot.
Yeah.
He said they put Far Cry in his COD game. What was that ending? And also, I think maybe one of the bigger cons: Microsoft, and also people who use their mic. Yeah, I mean, voice chat in COD games, not even once for me. That's the first thing I turn off. I know some games you've had to turn it off like each pregame lobby, but yeah. And then Donovan, I think shortly after this article, I think after our podcast went live, Donovan's review of Arkham dropped.
Yes.
He gave it a 9 out of 10. It's probably going to be our VR game of the year, which means Joe will never play it because it'll make him vomit. And I think the one main negative is that combat forces you to move at a slower pace, which is kind of the opposite of some of the Arkham games where, like, you know, you're flying around or you're driving around, you're moving kind of quickly, you're beating the crap out of people. But it looks good. The story is intriguing. And he says it was a clever translation of Arkham features to VR. I think the one thing I would like about this is at least this is a game where Batman doesn't take up half of the screen. Because some of those Arkham games, man.
Yes.
It's a little
in full hunk mode. Yeah.
He's like
beefcake body.
He's like a third or half of your screen. This is like,
that was that Gears of War era, right? Where like every character in every game was this chunk fest.
It was.
Yeah.
He got wider. Batman definitely got wider during that era. He was not the slim Michael Keaton Batman. He was like, I don't know, Bane was Batman or something.
That's right.
Yeah. That Greg Miller era Batman.
Jeez. Yep. And then, Timo reviewed Planet Coaster 2, gave it an 8 out of 10. It's got an upbeat tone, limitless customization options, challenging scenarios, simulation aspect lacks depth, setting paths can be a little fiddly, and obsolete research system. That's not good. I like these games. They're just fun playgrounds to build shit in, and obviously, like, my go-to move is to create roller coasters that break shit or like send people flying off into the sun or something.
Sure.
I love sandbox games like that. So 8 out of 10 for Planet Coaster 2 is not bad at all.
No.
On to Newsa, which is a news palooza coined by Shacknews and trademarked. So here we are. We did it.
Finally. Wow. It took us 2 hours to get
I know. We can talk about the biggest news of the week. Right? No other news happened on Tuesday. The president of Nintendo, Furukawa-san, tweeted again. This is his second tweet in a year. He said, "This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date." Interesting.
Yes.
What do we think about this? I'm not surprised at all. I knew this was happening. We wrote a story about this 3 years ago, to the day that they announced that this was coming. So we're not surprised here at Shacknews. But that sounds like great news. Your Switch library is not stuck on your Switch.
Yeah.
So back to your point earlier, you're going to hold out on buying Brothership because you think it's going to be enhanced on Nintendo Switch 2?
I mean, you know, the definition of enhanced, I think, is fuzzy, but I think I'm much more sensitive to the performance woes of the Switch than certainly you, Asif. I don't know how you feel about it, TJ, but the popular opinion on the Brothership performance worries me. So I think I'm going to wait on that.
Fair enough. And like, this seems like it's a no-brainer, but like there always is. Nintendo is such a strange company with its decisions sometimes that there's always that possibility that they would just for no good reason be like, no, it's not backwards compatible, and we're not going to bring this to the shop over, right, like they did between Wii, like the Wii era and the Switch era.
Forget Wii era. They screwed up with the Wii U.
Right.
with they had some backwards compatibility, but like they created another virtual console, so you had to rebuy all the virtual console games again.
Right. And the fact that like the 3DS and the Wii U virtual consoles just don't exist anymore is baffling to me to this day.
Yeah, and eShops, they're gone too. So like, I think this is great news as a shareholder, but it's also great news as a customer, because eShop might become their Steam, right? Like, I think going forward, Nintendo makes Switches. And I think going forward, Switches have eShop on them. So I think this is good. And it shows that Nintendo is actually trying to improve. Like they realize how successful Switch has been, and they don't want to squander this again. So that's the good news from the report. That same presentation, Furukawa talked about a lot of stuff, and he said something that, as a shareholder of Nintendo, concerns me. He said it's going to cost more to make games going forward. And that, I think they're tipping their hand that these are going to be 4K games, because we've seen it. Microsoft, when they went to 4K, Sony, when they went to 4K, your budgets just go up. It takes more time to make games. It costs more to make those games. I don't know. I'm not saying that Switch 2 is going to fail. Nintendo Switch has sold 146 million units since launch. That was another news item to come out of earnings.
Right.
I don't think they can achieve the same success in this next generation. I think it's almost impossible, because they're now developing. Let's just assume it's 4K. The reason why the lineup, you go back and look at 2017's launch lineup for Switch, or you just look at, they showed this slide where they showed the entirety of their first party launches on Switch over the entire life of the console. It's the most first party games ever launched in the history of a Nintendo system, because they merged handheld with console, right?
Yeah.
You can't get that benefit more than once. So compared to Wii U, which was an abysmal failure, and 3DS, which eventually sold something like 65 million units, but struggled for years, right? By comparison, Nintendo Switch looked even more impressive. So now people are going to be comparing this next product and this next cycle to the greatest Switch, or the greatest Nintendo hardware release probably of all time. We'll see if it beats DS or not. But yeah, they also lowered their target for sales on the Switch they expect to sell 12.5 million in fiscal year 25, which ends in March. They reaffirmed that they are going to announce the Switch sometime between now and the end of March 2025. They announced that Zelda Echoes of Wisdom sold over 2.5 million copies in like 5 days. That's pretty great. Games are still selling on this thing, but to your point, Joe, I think a lot of people are holding off because they want to see what this next system is. And I worry that if they skimp on hardware, that they may have problems. What I think, and I'll be honest with you guys, I am considering selling my Nintendo stake entirely, because I do not think they will be able to achieve the same profit margins on Switch 2 software or hardware that they were with Switch 1, because they were making 1080p games. They were porting over games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and, a lot of assets were being reused, right? To achieve that impressive software number, which they've sold 1.3 billion software units. That's the most they've ever sold in the history of a console for them. So they're doing all these things that Switch is going to go down as maybe their GOAT, right? There is now competition in this space with Steam Deck that I think is real. I think that competition is very real. There's the problem that they have with piracy and ROM leaks, which is, I think, a real threat. But if the cost of the hardware is going to go up, and the cost of the software, the development of it, is going to go up, it stands to reason that their profits are going to be less impressive, at least at the launch of this thing. And we're still 2 years away from the next Mario movie, and we're something like, they said the Zelda movie's coming out sometime between now and 2020X. So sometime between 2030 and now. There's all this cool stuff coming, right? But there's a chance that they don't stick the landing on this launch. But that news about the backwards compatibility, I think, is a bridge to bring people over, right? I think that's the good news. But if this thing costs $450, I don't think that is good news, right? And There's the tariff situation going on right now here in America. Nintendo is a foreign manufacturer. That could threaten them. I just think there's a lot of things to be concerned about as a Nintendo shareholder right now. Now, if you can hold on to the stock for 20 years, do it. I just think the next year or two might be rough. And this year's already been rough. They reported some very bad numbers, and they cut their full year forecast. I will say this, though. There's some sandbagging motherfuckers over there. The Japanese yen is currently trading somewhere like, yen dollar. Sorry, dollar yen. We're recording this on a Thursday when the Federal Reserve cut rates. So the dollar yen has actually weakened. The dollar has weakened today. So it's 152 yen to the dollar. Their currency assumption rate is at 140 yen. So they're building in almost 10% upside if the yen and dollar stay where they are. And that's true of the euro as well. But I also think they're kind of just resetting the year. It's like, this is a bad year for Nintendo. Next year, there's a new system coming out. It's very likely that they'll show some growth next year. But I just worry that we've seen maybe the best profitability we'll ever see from their console business. Now, Furukawa on that presentation mentioned that he wants to, he believes that they can shift Nintendo away from this console cycle business model towards being a platform. So we'll see if that happens. I think he's saying all the right stuff. I think they're thinking through things right. I just worry that there are some external factors that will prevent this from being as successful, right? I don't know. Just that was my take from some of those earnings reports and stuff. They did mention, like, they're doing well on the mobile game front, I guess. Like, they touted how many downloads they've had, which is like, a lot. Pokemon TCG Pocket has just passed 10 million downloads. So yeah, they showed this image where it was like the 4 pillars of Nintendo going forward, and it's like movies and video, apps, merch, and video games. So it's like video games are just 1/4 of their business going forward. Obviously, it's 80% of their business right now. So if you believe that Nintendo will transition from that to being just a brand that kind of encompasses entertainment, not just gaming, there's a very long way to go here. I don't think Wall Street understands that yet. I don't think they're pricing it in yet. And I think the problem with Nintendo is they're really fucking slow. And if it's going to take you 7 years to make a Zelda movie, that's going to be hard to price into your stock now.
Sure.
Right? And I think that's the problem with them, is that they're moving too slow. And even the release of Switch 2, I think, is kind of slow. Like, they've lost momentum this year. If the Switch 2 came out this year, I think they could have kept it going a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, if Elden Ring launches on this thing and it runs well, like, I'll change my opinion. But like, if they nerf the hardware in any way to cut costs or to meet some target, I think they're in trouble. Not like existential trouble, just very tough generational comparison problems is all I'm saying. But yeah, interesting times at Nintendo, though. At least they told us something about Switch 2, right? On election night. Just real quick, Death Stranding launches on Xbox today, apparently. Like,
with a discount.
At a discount? 50% off?
Yep.
Okay. I'll allow it. Strand Game of the Year nominee. I'm putting it in right now. We're going to give it Strand Game of the Year. Yes. I see what's going on in our Slack. I will get to that shortly, TJ. Let's speed through these. Take-Two sold Private Division. They didn't say for how much. They didn't say to who. Apparently, someone is going to announce it here in the next few weeks. Who acquired Private Division? They're kind of in a mess right now. We were talking about Kerbal Space Program 2. Like, that game doesn't exist anymore. It's out in early access, but there are no developers working on it right now. So that's weird. Yeah. I don't know why they sold it. They said nice things about it on the conference call, but they didn't really explain why they sold it or to who. So we'll see what comes of that. Sega mentioned that a new Virtua Fighter game is indeed in development. So yeah, that'll be cool.
It will.
Star Wars Outlaws creative director replaced after the game shipped because they have a big update coming, the biggest. And while we're on the topic of Ubisoft being a terrible company, Ubisoft's NFT game is reportedly being terrorized by a cheater. All 4 players are devastated about this news, TJ. Satsnusa, powered by Shacknews, trademarked by Joe Stasio.
Yes.
I don't know. And then lastly, Intrusa. I'm sure this pissed you off, Joe. I don't know. Apple acquired Pixelmator. Do you use Pixelmator? No?
I mean, I don't. I'm still a lackey for Adobe, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. Although Adobe Photoshop makes me cry. I can't wait to see how Apple ruins this app.
Were you like a old school Logic guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
They ruined Logic.
Yeah. Right.
They destroyed Logic. They destroyed Final Cut Pro. Although I never really liked Final Cut. I used iMovie. It was fine. But anyway, yeah. Apple ruining software since Steve Jobs died. Actually, before. They were doing it before. Anyway.
Yeah, that's been a staple.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a much larger feature I'm working on about the state of Apple. So yeah, I'm just going to tease that and let folks know that you'll be able to read that soon. We did it. Oh my God, we did it.
Wow.
We're at community notes. So we've got a few questions and comments from the Shacknews community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty or by emailing us at tj.denzer@shacknews.com.
Yep.
We do have the Haas Mamu Corner with a Q. Is Joe's game a preview of the Shacknews Awards deliberations? Flip a coin, is what he said.
We do got to figure that out.
That is a reference to Ozzy flipping a coin to determine the fighting game of the year vote. And we all will never forget that deliberation. Because Mortal Kombat 1 won. And that sounds redundant. Also, there have been multiple Mortal Kombat 1s. What are you going to do? Anyway,
Madden,
Warner
NFL
Brothers
25.
managing IP into the ground faster than Microsoft. So that's it. We did it. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tune in every Friday to Shack Together. This will be embedded in the evening reading article on Thursday that I post, which is going to be a banger. I'm telling you, you guys should show up for the evening reading. Although, how the hell are you going to know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about it on the podcast, but yeah, evening reading. You should read it. It's good.
Oh, you're telling TJ and I.
Yep, basically. And maybe Mamu will read it. But yeah, you get points on Cortex for reading articles, by the way. Not anyone who's winning it lately. But yeah, with my shift away from Twitter back to Cortex Shouts, I think I might win Shacknews a couple of days coming up.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll do it. Thanks, Joe. Great game with the... I love to see Magoo revived. You're both worthy opponents. TJ, congratulations on guessing The Adventures of Lolo, which is a great game that everyone should check out.
Truly.
But that's it. We did it. Congratulations, guys.
Thank
we went
you.
a whole podcast without talking about the election. Hooray.
Wow. Thanks for joining us, TJ.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
No problem.
We'll see you next time. And appreciate everyone. If you made it this far, give us a review. Vote for Shack Together at your local podcast polling facility. I don't think any Russian bomb threats have been called in yet, so should be able to get your vote in for Shack Together. So please do that. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Shack Together is a Shacknews production.
Shack Together is a Shacknews production.
Shack Together is a Shacknews production.
Shacknews is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including Shacknews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shacknews content is readable and viewable at shacknews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shacknews, Shacknews Interviews, and Shacknews VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shacknews Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required. But if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shacknews is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feed. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shacknews ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shacknews swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.